from before. He's spoken to us a couple times. I think he spoke to us at the Portofino Inn. He's co-founder and senior partner of Richardson and Harmon, a law firm having 10 lawyers known for real estate, construction, employment, and business litigation. Mr. Richardson, I'm reading this in case you can't figure that out, holds an AV rating by Martindale Hubble. Most of you know what that means. He advises several associations of realtors and a member of the Legal Affairs Forum of the California Association of Realtors. He's a member of the faculty of the Professional Realty Institute, teaching GRI coursework. He's authored numerous articles in local and national business and trade publications on real estate construction. He's spoken to us before on construction law. And he's spoken to us before on HOA law, common interest development law. He's a popular speaker to real estate groups, author of a syndicated column. I didn't know that. Where does that show up?
I'm in 12 papers, but I can't get in Daily Breeze.
He's in 12 papers, but he can't get in the Daily Breeze. I didn't realize that. Mr. Richardson received his bachelor's degree. And I'm not going to go on to this because we're going to end up at SC, right? Animated and volunteering. Got his law degree at SC. Kind of snuck up on me, Kelly. So why don't you come up here and I'll button this thing on you and you can take over. So please welcome Mr. Kelly Richardson.
Thank you, Jim. And if it makes you feel better to do an 8 clap before I start, I guess that'd be...
all right.
I'll plug my ears. All right. Well, it's always nice to be here. This area has a lot of wonderful history for me. I'm a 3rd generation South Bay person, and I immigrated to the Pasadena area back in the 80s, but I always loved to come back and make my pilgrimage to Old Tony's, you know, on the pier. Yeah, you know Old Tony's. What I'd like to do this morning, and Andy, do I just cue you or is there a clicker?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. What I'd like to do this morning is to take sort of an advanced discussion of the seller's property questionnaire. Now, when Sonny asked me to come speak on this forum, I was a little shocked when I looked at my original seminar, because I do a more basic seminar on the SPQ, and been doing that since the form came out. And you may remember the seller's property questionnaire was quite controversial. It took a couple of years to get that form finally approved and out for your usage. At the time, we just had the SBSA. We had that 10-page form going on, and the AVID wasn't on the horizon yet, but it was coming soon. And there was just a lot of concern about forms in general. Well, I was shocked to see that I started teaching the seller's property questionnaire back in early 2005. So we've now had this form for over 4 full years. And as I look through the form as an attorney, I will tell you that it's kind of an old home week journey. When I look at the 41 or 42 questions in the seller's property questionnaire, it's kind of a nostalgic journey, because between appellate case law and actual cases in my office that I've either defended or prosecuted, those 41 questions all relate to common and sometimes very publicized disclosure lawsuits in real estate in California. And most of us that do this a lot, you can peg specific war stories to almost every one of those 41 darn questions. Now, I'm sure you don't look at the form nostalgically with great joy,
No.
But no, not at all. But it is a very important tool for you. It was generated by who? Your association. So its official purpose is to protect innocent sellers from making innocent mistakes. Okay? Nothing we all can do. No advice I can give, no advice you can give, no amount of forms from CAR will protect people from dishonest sellers. But this is all about honest sellers. But more importantly, the reason why your organization issued it was to protect you all. So this discussion is about protecting innocent sellers, but it's really about protecting all of you and making you more safe. And to do that, we have to start with an unpleasant reality. We have to use an impolite word. I have to bring out the F word. No, not that one. No, the word fraud. You can click me again, Andy. Yeah. Fraud, there we go. Fraud is the intentional misstatement or concealment of material fact with buyer reliance, subject, and then the resulting damage to the buyer. It is shocking. It is absolutely shocking how often citizens in our state, when anything goes wrong, immediately pull out that F-bomb. Somebody cusses at you in a meeting or on the phone, we all get offended, we get over it, we move on. But when word gets out that you've been sued for fraud, that taint can last for years. And of course, when the newspapers or the gossip chain says, oh yeah, Joe Blow was sued for fraud, everyone hears about that story. What they don't hear 6 months later is when the judge throws it out for no evidence. Nobody ever circulates that story. All they remember is the first story, okay? So this F word is much more damaging to both our professions than just simply being cursed at. And why is it? Why is it that people automatically assume that when something is not disclosed, it's intentional? One of the most disappointing things about practicing law for me is what I see about our culture and the nature and how we approach problems. Because I meet with probably 3 to 5 people every week that have some kind of a new issue. It may be a buyer, it may be a seller, it may be a broker, it may be a business owner. But almost every single time when somebody comes to me with a problem, I never hear someone say, yeah, well, I had this contract to buy a couple $1 million worth of machinery, and the contract fell through, and the seller, I guess they had a problem with their supplier in Taiwan, and I need you to help us through this. No. I had a contract for several $1 million worth of equipment in Taiwan. This guy promised that it would be here on time. I had other contracts that I had to fulfill, and he screwed me. The equipment didn't come through. He sold it to somebody else, I'm sure, and I want to sue the guy for fraud. And I'm sure there are some of my colleagues out there who get real excited those kind of conversations, and they jump on their white horse without asking hard questions, and off over the hill they go. Well, you know what? It happens the same in real estate law. Exactly the same phenomenon. When deals go south, when a seller and buyer get crossways, it is pathetic and sad how your clients, when something goes bad, they never stop to think that it was inadvertent, that there was an honest mistake between folks. They think something was, well, I was intentionally harmed. Now, I can't change that, okay? All I can do is comment on it, but it's an important fundamental, it's an underlying assumption as we take the seller property questionnaire and really use it to its fullest potential and avoid problems as much as we can. We need to recognize some of these underlying assumptions that are so dangerous. And why are they dangerous to you? Well, first of all, when we talk about fraud is not prevented by as is or present condition. It's not prevented by words like approximate or buyer to verify or not verify. Those terms don't protect you or the seller from making a non-disclosure. Okay? If the seller has actual knowledge of a problem, had this happen in my office, swear to God, one of the guys in my office was buying a house in the Altadena area. There was there was an illegal addition, and he found out about it during the course of escrow. He tried to negotiate some covenants where either the seller would correct the bootleg construction or deduct for the approximate guess of what it would cost. No, the deal fell through. The realtor, whose broker was a friend of mine at the time, told my partner, oh, no worries, we're not going to, next time we'll just put it back on the market, somebody else will buy it, we'll just make sure we say buyer to verify permits. Well, that doesn't help you if you have actual knowledge that the place is built on a toxic waste dump. Buyers should check environmental conditions. Doesn't get you out of the fact you had actual knowledge. Okay, so this is a very dangerous area, and there are folks in your profession who think that just throwing out words like this will cover the problem of non-disclosure, and it doesn't. Well, the other assumption that's very important, if we go to the next slide, with respect to your clients, both buyers and sellers, you are in a very unique position. I think of all the professionals that the average Californian consults, you are really unique because your clients think that you know everything. They believe that. They force themselves to believe it because they're relying on you for every aspect of the most significant decision that they make, right? We talked today about a number of multi-million-dollar properties. How many of those sales that you went over this morning involved a lawyer reviewing the paperwork, an accountant reviewing the financial aspects of it, an architect and